And we have the General Secretary of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, here with me tonight. Seth, thank you for making the time. So is there a split in the union? Are you and your Deputy Secretary General and the Chair not speaking with one voice on this issue? That's been clear.
I think there's nothing like splitting the union. If you watched that clip clearly, you saw my Deputy General Secretary right behind me. Because he's my deputy, he's supposed to be behind me.
But on Sunday, he was with the cabinet secretaries and he signed a deal and you were not there.
Yeah, small mistakes can be committed by individuals within organizations, but that does not mean that there is a split. There isn't a split. We have not fought the way other unions have fought. I don't want to mention some of the unions that have had serious problems compared to our union. I think we are the strongest union in Kenya, and the government is doing everything within her ability to divide this union. And I can tell the government that it will fail on that one.
Tell me, Seth, why were you not there on the day that the Deputy General Secretary and the Chair, John B., signed this deal with the government on Sunday?
I will tell you clearly that when I was taught collective bargaining agreement skills, I was told there are times when you must take a tactical retreat when you feel you are being held hostage. On a Sunday evening, my officials were being held hostage in Afya House. The ministry and the government officials refused to release them. And when things became so hard, when they called me and I talked to Chief of Staff, Mr. Kinyua, and I told him there's no way we are going to end the strike at night. We can't end the strike before the National Governing Council comes and approves that deal. He insisted, but I said that's the point. Then I spoke to CS Dr. Mailu. I told him we cannot end the strike unless the National Governing Council comes to Nairobi and looks at the deal and approves it. He insisted, and it became clear that he was holding my officials hostage. So I had to derive a method to get those officials out of Afya House.
And how
I simply told Macharia, and then I simply told Mailu that we are coming to sign the deal tomorrow at 9. Then immediately my officials left Afya House. I told them, all of you go switch off your phones and don't respond to Afya House. Leave me to handle the government, because that is a negotiation tact. If the employer is cornering you, you must have a tact of retreat and give authority to duly authorized organs. But for one or two reasons, my colleagues did not listen to that, and that's where we went. But there is no division in the union. We are working together as officials.
So what is the position now?
Yeah, the position now, the strike is still on, and at the time I'll make that pronouncement. There's nobody else who can call it off. We are going to continue the strike because the deal that was ended has a lot of anomalies. We didn't even realize, I had not even realized those anomalies, because the deal is supposed to have brought to the National Executive Council. We look at it and then we hand over to the National Governing Council today. But because of the confusion that emerged, we took that deal to the National Governing Council without the National Executive Council going through. But when the National Governing Council looked at that deal today, I wasn't embarrassed myself. That honestly speaking, like I'll give an example, the deal of 15,000 and 20,000, those job group L and below will get 20,000.
Yeah.
Job group M and above, those are in
15,
higher job groups, will get 15.
All right.
Now, you are in job group L, you yourself, job group L, next year you are promoted to job group M. It means they will reduce your salary by 5,000.
Okay. Allow me then to ask about this, because you say your union is one of the strongest. We had statements from John B. himself and Maurice Odhiambo, who's your deputy themselves. They even made reference to the fact that you were absent, but they said, and we also had Ongwae yesterday, who said the union is not Seth and Seth is not the union, and that they were going ahead with this anyway. Now, we've had a lot of conflicting statements about this, but what you're saying here with what we have seen over the past few days seems to be a little bit different, because your union officials were not speaking very highly of you in a manner, yesterday when they signed that deal at 1 in the afternoon, not at night as you claim.
No, I was saying the previous night, when they were locked in.
So you're saying
I hatched a plan
they were locked in,
yes,
held
in
hostage,
yes,
kidnapped.
And then I hatched a plan to have them leave Afya House.
Which was?
I think I told you that I had to tell the cabinet secretary that release my officials will come back tomorrow.
Right. Did they have to go back the next day, though?
No,
because once they were released.
On a Sunday.
Yes, but they did.
But they did.
Yes.
So
what do you attribute to that?
Yeah. Let's leave at that one. From the days the National Governing Council, if anybody goes contrary to the provision of what we made, decisions we made today, that's when you can say there's divisions. But as far as the national governing body, the highest decision-making organ of the union, has spoken, there is nobody who can go contrary to that. For your information, the National Governing Council has been very clear that nobody will even address the media apart from the General Secretary only.
Okay. Ongwae yesterday in an interview we had with him here on Checkpoint on the show said this is a delicate issue that needs not be politicized, and he particularly said that on this one you have lost it.
You know, Ongwae speaks like he has monopoly of knowledge. He says that the union is not Panyako. He's not a member of this union. He has never been a member of this union. So he does not know the structures within this union. Even government has structures. Why is he telling us that we should sign recognition agreement with 47 county governments? Why can't he sign himself on behalf of 47 county governments? He thinks he's so clever that we are so stupid. Nurses are not stupid. Why have they not done anything for the doctors who have refused to even march out of the negotiation? So we are saying every organization has got structures which must be respected. Just the way he cannot sign a recognition agreement for Kwale county government, the way he cannot sign any document for any other county government, even in his own county government, he cannot sign a recognition agreement. It can only be signed by the County Public Service Board. So he must understand and respect institutions which are within organizations.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because now the deal was purportedly signed yesterday, not ratified today by the National Governing Council. Where does this leave the talks? It seems like things might be a little bit in a trickier position than they were before. What happens now?
I believe that the government has lawyers. And when you know the law is very clear that something that is done, if a person performs an act and he has no legal authority to perform that act is normally termed in law as null ab initio. It did not happen. That document did not happen. For example, that document does not even have a date. For somebody to purport to be signing for an authorized person is required by law. The Labor Relations Act Section 2E says that if you want to perform the functions of the General Secretary, if he is there, he must authorize you in writing. I did not authorize anybody in writing. Okay. In the ministry, an accounting officer of the ministry is the principal secretary. In this case, the person who signed the document is the cabinet secretary. This document can be challenged in a court of law.
All right, Seth, where does this leave the negotiations now? So what is the next step in terms of just getting both nurses and governments, both national and county, back to the negotiating table?
We are doing a memorandum tomorrow in the morning, as directed by the National Governing Council, raising issues with the government, which we believe should be resolved before the strike can be suspended, not called off. One of the issues that we are saying is that we want a recognition agreement to be signed before we can suspend the strike.
That was going to be done on Wednesday.
We don't know. They have been calling those meetings and they only come 7 people, they come 5, some of them don't come. We have no trust in them. 2, we are saying court cases. Any court case that had been filed against union officials must be withdrawn. We are saying this quantum, you know, they treat nurses like we are very stupid. You don't know how to read and write. When you are given a quantum pay, I won't, let me tell you, is a payment you pay for someone for damages.
Okay, so tomorrow, you're meeting?
No. Tomorrow we are giving our proposal to the government.
Yes, you are meeting as nurses to give your proposals to the government, to give these proposals that you have told us here?
Not nurses, we officials. You know, okay. My office is doing that.
And you are a nurse as well.
I have been given the responsibility to do that.
Yes.
You know, when you say nurses, you are trivializing it. I am meeting as a general secretary who has been given authority to hand over a memorandum to the government tomorrow, and I have been directed to personally lead the negotiation.
On behalf of?
Of the union.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who represent?
The nurses.
Thank you very much. Seth Panyako, who's the General Secretary of the Kenya National Union of Nurses. The strike is still on, as he says. Kenyans will have to wait a little bit longer before seeing a resolution to this stalemate. Thank you very much for joining us. You're watching Monday Night News. We're taking a quick break.